Okay, picture in picture again. This is going into the tuner front end. And yeah, this looks pretty jacked up. So let's see. Look at how narrow that is. See, that one looks off. This is the one that's super touchy. See how it peaks off? See, this right here is our 10 megahertz marker. This little so ideally it should peak and broaden out. Let me try something. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go straight. I'm gonna bypass the tuner. Boy, did that change the way it looked. Still too damn narrow. Too narrow. That's too damn narrow. at how narrow that thing is. Why is it so narrow? It should look like that. Look at how much of a peak. This is the width right here, and look at what you're looking at there. It's a and you can hear that's a little bit broader. Wonder what would happen if I try and inject into this tube. I know that this is a long shot because of the way this thing is shielded, but maybe if I just put enough power into it, it'll submit to my demands. Maybe not. Get a little bit there. That even looks super narrow. This is not a good test, though. Look at how narrow that looks. So I've sped the scope way up and widened it out as much as I can, and it's just totally irrelevant. It's just too narrow. See, if I detune that one, still doesn't look right. Doesn't look right. It's this. Just wanted to see because that FM switch bypasses this one. if you just completely drive it into saturation, it starts to get wide. You know, it's getting better, I will say that. Alright, there's what our discriminator output looks like. It should be an S curve. Let's see if we can get that. It's not right, though. Something is... Hell, what the... Okay, what am I doing wrong here? Stand by. Alright, well, no matter what I do, fade to car alarm and leaf blower. Let's fade the 60 cycle hum back in. Try and achieve a good mix of car alarm and 60 cycle alignment hum. Anyway, no matter what I do, I can't get this to look right. This should look like an S. It should look like this right here, half of this. Half below, half above, and I can't get that. So I think I'm gonna have to dig back into this IF can. Maybe check this.
Partial government shutdown are probably very good.
I hope we don't, but we're totally prepared for a very long shutdown.
Trump speaking this afternoon as the U.S. Senate takes its first procedural vote on whether to advance on a House and Trump-approved government spending bill that includes money for a border wall. It is uncertain if this version...
In store this holiday at your local Staples.
Hearing, aw, you shouldn't have.
Without spending more than you should have.
Staples has...
Last day shoppers,
You're a man, of course you are.
hey, it's the best thing.
I will say it's better, but it's still not perfect. It's much better.
9%.
Almost acceptable.
Gary Moore a little.
The sensitivity still sucks.
Because at T-Mobile, the holiday season is on us. There's still time to be this year's holiday hero. Right now.
Okay. I probably shouldn't do this, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this can apart and I'm going to check this 51 picofarad capacitor, and I'm going to check this 0.001. Now this is one of those polystyrene or polyester or polyethylene or polypropylene or polybarbital or whatever those things are. So I want to check this capacitor and this capacitor, and I hope I don't destroy this thing. These are super critical. For this thing to work right, because I'm still not getting the perfect S curve. I got it pretty damn good, but it's still not perfect. So there's really nothing else here. There's just nothing else. I've replaced it's just these two. Oh, and when I disconnect this, I guess I could check this one. When I disconnect this, that's getting the radio out of the circuit. I still can't get the S curve perfect. Alright, I have disconnected and tested these polystyrene capacitors and everything in this IF circuit here, and everything checks out. The polystyrene capacitors are perfect. No leakage and right on. Okay, this is all back together. I hope I didn't injure any of those plastic capacitors. I tried to get on and off as fast as I could with the soldering iron, but you never know. There's one other thing I want to look at here. It'll probably not be today, but this, and I don't see how this could affect it, but this right here, K1, 100 picofarad, 100K. I don't know, maybe it's throwing the impedance or something off. I can check the resistor, it's about 110K. I can't check the capacitor though.
Are you here? Silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas. They've been waiting, anticipating. See the faces glow. Forget your problems and worry.
You know what, it's almost tolerable now just with the visual alignment. I think I might just say that's it. It's fair. It's not perfect, it's fair. S curve. Not happy with that. Disconnect the stabilizing capacitor, come up here. That's what I ended up with for the band pass. Not bad, it just takes a lot of time.
Yes, there are two paths you can go by, but in the long run.
This is K-Jazz. It's a really good commercial-free jazz station. It's very weak here. It sounds okay. There's still some distortion. Time after time. I thought for entertainment value we could try the DSO 138, which this is the little eBay Chino scope thing. This thing has an analog bandwidth of 200 kilohertz, so it's not good for much more than audio stuff, but this is audio stuff. So I'm gonna try changing the EABC 80 with a couple new old stock 6T8s, and we'll see if we can get this see if we can get the bottom to look better. You know, it should be, ideally it should be a nice, it's not nice looking. It's more on the top than on the bottom. It's kind of got a sharp cutoff on the top. So I'm going to adjust the we're gonna start with a new old stock GE 6T8 here, and this is our, these are our diodes. So if one of them was jacked up, you know, and I've tested this tube and substituted it and everything else, but if one of those diodes was somehow jacked up, I guess it could cause this. Anyway, can I get the tube in? There we go. The tube is warming up. Ooh, that looks different. That looks quite a bit different. Is it just that there's more gain on both the top and the bottom? Because the top looks taller than the EABC 80. It's still not equal. Okay, this is a new old stock Triad brand tube, and I don't know Made in Japan. Okay. Triad. It's got to be good. It's probably some total junk like those realistic Lifetime tubes. I'll get it in there, just be patient. There we go. Triad is warming up. Oh, and by the way, the Triad is a 5T8, not a 6T8. It just runs a little bit warmer. The top is still bigger than the bottom. Alright, I'm going to go back to the EABC 80. Okay, the EABC 80 is warming up. Yeah, I manipulated the alignment a little bit there. I don't know, it looks like the EABC 80 is a little bit weak, doesn't it? This is a 5T8. Notice how it's hard to tell. It's not equal, but I could swear that maybe they're both just one division each. Still not equal. Should be equal top and bottom, and it's not. This is the band pass, and I actually got this working really, really well. Look at that. I got that really aligned well. Well, MJ coming through there for the copyright violation. Just with this, I would really expect better than this from this radio. It should be even on top and bottom with the marker in the middle. I mean, it's best if I move almost the marker, you know, right there, and it's just a not a good looking S curve. We should hook this thing up to another radio that's working well and take a look at that S curve and see what it looks like. I mean, it's decent, but it's not, I don't know. You know, I'm wondering if I'm just overdriving this thing, because if I turn the S curve, the generator down, where the S curve is basically in with the audio level. See, there's the audio level. See, it looks good down there. It's when I start to turn it up, it starts to get uneven. Which but I think the music is louder than that. So see, the music's like up here. So as you bring the generator up, the bottom appears first. Then the bottom starts to cut off and it starts to move to the top. Yeah, there's something weird with this thing. Something weird wrong with this thing, and I'll admit I don't know what it is. Weird. I want to cold start this. It's been sitting for 3 or 4 hours just to see how the IF looks warming up, if there's any drift. Oh, here we go. And this is it. I'm done with the radio. I'm gonna... Ooh, look at where the marker is. And the marker is coming up towards the middle. Anyway.
Be encouraged. Positive, encouraging K-Love.
At least someone in the LA basin tuned it in for a second there. Let me do this. Let me get this crap off the top of it, because antennas are in the top, and it picks up way better without metal sitting on top of it.
Listening to KRGH FM and HD, Los Angeles, a radio.com station with your 70s, 80s, and 90s. Merry Christmas!
My favorite time of year. Oh, 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 happy holidays!
LA and Orange County.
No!
There actually isn't.
Yeah, this is more than acceptable. I don't think it's right, but it's more than acceptable.
This week's Prime Minister.
De Dios estaba verificando en su vida. A nosotros.
Ooh, there's channel 6. That's coming in.
Ignoramos los planes de Dios.
Oh my Lord, I'm in guitar show. Just warming up. Down the bottle, baby, but to you I'll raise the glass. You got me.
You know what? I need to do an AM alignment on it since I was just twerking with those cans. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But I'm done with the FM. It's good enough. It's not perfect, but I think it's good enough. It's way better than when I started. It might actually be semi-intelligent to retouch the FM alignment with it in the cabinet too, because this is metal. This is a shield. And I don't know how much that would affect it, but it could very possibly affect it. A couple good comments came in last night, and there's always a lot of good comments. Thank you guys for the input and help. And let me say this, it seems like all the good comments always end up in the spam or the withheld folder. So if your comment doesn't appear and it's a good, thoughtful comment that's not full of cursing language or something like that, I will approve it as soon as I see it. It's Google. It's Google censorship. So the comment that came in was to check these two capacitors here. This is on the ECH81. Pretty sure I checked those. Those are actually down in here. And I need to get a flashlight for this, I think. Yeah, those are those two capacitors. You can see the 39K 1 watt. And then you can see the capacitor right next to it. Yeah, it'd probably be fried sitting next to that hot resistor. And then they got yellow dots on them. And then there's one over to the left.
Printers at the lowest prices guaranteed.
And you can't get.
I don't have this coupled in here, right? I've just coupled it in. I guess I could turn the modulation up a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peak these. And I expect this one, these are the top ones, I expect this one to be off. Because I was... Not much. Pretty close. Going back to this one. Pretty close. Pretty close. The AM was pretty close. Alright, I have it back together, and that includes having the shield. There's a shield that runs on top of this board underneath is connected. So I'm doing the AM alignment, and then we'll do the FM sweep one more time.
Wow, Frankie Lyman, great record. It's Christmas once again, preceded by Darlene Love with a version of White Christmas, the likes of which I have never heard.
Run in November. Snowy nights and Christmas.
Pueden arrendar un Acura ILX.
Como niño.
出白龍王廟祈福團
2月15號保證出發，有浪費。
Just don't seem to.
너는 너무나 순진한 새.
여러분 안에 성령의 능력이 와 계십니다.
Should wake the neighborhood up. See if WWCR is still. Wow. It's 10 megahertz. Oh yeah, there it is. Very weak. Did you know you can tune a guitar to WWCR or any musical instrument? It actually has a whole bunch of frequency standards in this program.
Text and data with the best network, the best devices for the best value. Visit SpectrumMobile.com.
TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods present the most helpful innovation in last-minute holiday shopping.
On your lottery. Please play. Listen, you can participate.
Old Covenant. Here, just the thing. Dayquil Severe plus Vicks VapoCool. It is intense, let me tell you. The first time you try it, it'll wallop you just like a blizzard. Those vapors are really a rush. You can feel them rippling through your nose, rushing through your head before cooling down your throat. It's a full body rush. So if you have nasal congestion,
If you've got electric heat, chances are you've got a heat pump.
You with the full complement.
Why you singing carols?
Pues no todos tienen.
Get in, out.
The law, too.
Let's get back to that hip-hop.
LA's new home for hip-hop. Real 92.3.
Prosperity Familia, happy Sunday. Chewy Martinez, I'm up in here. Check this out. If you want a 4-pack of tickets to Knott's Merry Farm, holler at me right now. 866-246-8920.
I'm up out of here. Part 4 on the Nordmende Caruso German distorted FM tuner, and I wanted to go through and address a lot of the common comments. First, I actually made a list here. So there were a lot of comments on AGC. Well, I'm not that familiar with FM tuners and limiting circuits and AGC, but I believe this is the AGC on this specific radio. It comes off the detector here, the discriminator. So when this voltage changes, it loops back to this tube, and it change the bias on this tube, therefore adjusting the gain down as the signal gets stronger. All this down at the bottom, this is for the AM only. The switches completely disconnect this AGC line, and also this uses several switches to bypass the stacked AM FM IF. In most receivers, they just leave these in series, but in this one they actually shunt the AM with a switch, and I checked all these switches, they're all good. This line here is working. This capacitor is good. Let's see, so the AGC, it's not an AGC problem. Deviation versus signal strength. The distortion occurs on high deviation, meaning high modulation or loud or a lot of bass. That's what's distorting. It has nothing to do with signal strength. It distorts on a strong signal, it distorts on a weak signal. Amp distortion versus FM distortion. The distortion is not coming from the amp or the speakers or anything else, because it's crystal clear and undistorted on FM shortwave and the phonograph. It is specific solely to the FM, and you can see the distortion in the previous video towards the end of the video when I scoped the output. Music in LA. I was kind of focusing on the worst music that LA has to offer, simply because it was some of the highest deviation, loudest stations on the band. LA has a lot of good music stations, from classical to classic rock to college stations that play indie pop and punk stuff to talk. If we don't have some type of music in this market, then I can't help you with that. But yeah, there's a lot of good music. Maybe in this video I'll try and stay away from the ghetto 101.5, and we'll focus on some of the better music. And that leads me into the next one, which is content ID. Now lately YouTube has really tightened the content ID down. Prior to this you could get like 30 seconds. Let me move this over, maybe you can look at some more of the schematic. Prior to this, 2 or 3 weeks ago, YouTube would allow up to 30 seconds of a song and not flag it and take the video down. Well, they changed that. Now all it takes is a couple seconds and the video gets copyright claimed. So is that really a problem? Well, not directly, unless it's something like a Jay-Z song that's blocked and gets the video blocked worldwide. The problem I have with it is that when somebody else content IDs like if someone else puts a content ID claim on my video, then the commercials that you guys watch as viewers, that artist or whoever put that content ID claim on the video is receiving the advertising revenue, not me. And sometimes it's cool if it's an artist I like and support, but the majority of the time I'm not gonna support big money OD or whatever mumble rap artist it is with my video. So we're gonna have to work on the content ID thing, because they've tightened it down now to where, and I'm not trying to steal anybody's art or content here, I'm simply doing my own radio repair videos. Why don't I broadcast my own music? Because these radios need to work in real world conditions. Often they're put on display and used practically on terrestrial radio. I can't broadcast my own content and expect it to be the same as an actual real terrestrial radio broadcast with all the compression and all the other crap they put. So they have to work in real world a real world environment. That's why I'm not broadcasting my own music. It's just not realistic. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do, at the suggestion and recommendation many viewers, we are going to do a sweep alignment using the scope. I don't think it's going to fix it. I think it's something else. I'm missing something. There's some part in here that's screwed up, or for some reason this thing has a narrow deviation IF chain. I can't understand why they would do that. No other German radio I've ever had has that distortion problem. And it's got to be a problem, not an alignment issue. But we'll try and align it. Let's take a look at, visually, let's take a look at the IF. And we'll do it in a couple different stages. We'll do it before the tuner and after the tuner. And we are 7 minutes into me babbling.